celebration / taunt made famous first by John Cena and more recently by Caitlin Clark herself. Here's Reese after the game.
All year, I was critiqued about who I was. Nobody, the narrative, I don't fit the narrative. I don't fit in the box that y'all want me to be in. I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. So this was for the girls that look like me, that's going to speak up on what they believe in. It's unapologetically you. And that's what I did it for tonight. This was for it was bigger than me tonight. It was bigger than me. Twitter is going to go in a rage every time. And I mean, I'm happy. I feel like I've helped grow women's basketball this year. I'm super happy and excited.
Well, she hit it on the head when she said, but y'all don't say anything when other people do it. Now, if Caitlin Clark hadn't done anything, and I'll get to what she's done, and, you know, it was just nobody was taunting anybody throughout the tournament, and at the end of this game, when they're about to win the championship, if she's looking at an opponent and doing all, I would be bothered by that. I would be like, come on, act like you've been there, you're better than that. But the context is that Caitlin Clark was doing this earlier in the tournament, and we'll show it. She was, when they played Louisville, yeah, you'll see she did the "you can't see me" to an opponent about to walk by her during the game. And then she also told the girl, shut up, you're down 15, when the girl was talking or saying something. So Angel Reese is right. If you weren't going to be critical of Caitlin Clark when she was talking trash, then don't be critical of the black girl. I'm just going to say it, of the black girl, of course, when she does the same thing. If you're going to be critical of one, be critical of the other. If you're going to let it go and praise it and it's cute and, oh, how competitive she is, look at that, then say that when the African-American girl does it too. So I mean, I wouldn't want to see that, like I said, in a vacuum, but in the whole context, I completely get it. So I'm fine with what Angel Reese did.
The entire reaction to this is steeped in so much sexism and racism. It's just, anyone ignoring it, folks being like, oh, it's different because Angel Reese was the 4th leading scorer on the team. That girl's a first-team unanimous All-American, most outstanding player. Y'all,
who said she was the 4th?
You know, she was in that game. She was the 4th leading scorer. Here's the deal.
Tournament MVP.
I'm going to run through 3 things quickly. First one is this. This whole weekend and the whole tournament was amazing for women's college basketball. Caitlin Clark was great for women's college basketball. Angel Reese has been great for women's college basketball. That was the best played game of this tournament, either gender. The shot making, all of it. It was outstanding. Everything was great about that this whole weekend except for the officiating in that game. Right. That's first of all. Second of all, the reason I said sexism is there is an element of we don't want our female athletes to be as aggressive and swaggery as we want our male athletes to be oftentimes. Unless, of course, you're a white female athlete, in which case, even though you are the baddest son of a gun on the court, as Caitlin Clark has been all year, the media will turn you into an underdog. She ain't nobody's underdog. She's talking all the trash, and she's backing it all up. And then we get to the third point. A tale as old as time. America does not like the braggadocious, boisterous, authentically arrogant black athlete. And whether you're a man or a woman, there are certain things that are going to set off the criticism alarms. And that is the black athlete that it doesn't just act like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here, thank you for the opportunity. The black athlete that will say, I just kicked your ass and I'm going to revel in it. And it is especially galling to folks when they're doing that to a white athlete whose ass they just kicked. And I understand there are many, many people, some of whom love this show, and to those people I apologize. They are more bothered by the discussions of race than they are by actual racism. But the reaction this young woman received was racist. Flatly. And you know who was not bothered by it? Caitlin Clark.
That's my favorite.
Because she doesn't.
She's a competitor. She's awesome. And she knows it's fair game.
Right. And look, I don't want trash talk. Like I said, I wouldn't have liked it.
You don't love trash talk. I love trash talk.
But you don't need to rub it in somebody's face like that when you just beat them, unless they do all the talking too. And she's been talking like that. But taunting, general, you know, a little gamesmanship here and there, I'm cool with. But they don't even like men doing that nowadays. The NBA. They need the NBA. How many times you just look at somebody after dunking on you and they give you a tech? I think they do need to lighten up. And this overall shouldn't be the big story. The big story should be LSU, the championship. Yeah. The way the one girl, Jasmine Carson, comes off the bench,
7 for 7
hits all the
first
threes.
half.
I mean,
unbelievable.
And Caitlin Clark, to your point, was phenomenal. And that should all be the story instead of this, because it really wasn't that big of a deal.
So, I thought it was one of the most effective trash talks of all time, because I thought it was aimed at sort of 3 people. And it wasn't trash talk. One, it was aimed at Caitlin Clark. Like, hey, not only like did you do this, but you also disrespected SEC. Yeah. So like she said that. So that's one. 2, it was aimed at the media. Like, she knew the outrage that was going to happen, and she said it was on Twitter, and she wanted to be herself. So that was like, I got 2 for 1. And then 3, the fact that she, in that quote that we played, wanted to be inspirational a little bit in an interesting way of like, hey, this is for everybody who looks at me. It was an effective trash talk, and it was a good media. It was a little bit at Caitlin Clark. It was a lot at the media, it felt like. Like, she knew what it was gonna engender, and it worked. And it got people outraged, and the people that went too far,
what's just so frustrating,
it was savvy.
Is the only reason anyone would have been outraged, except for the select few that were furious with Caitlin a week ago, of which I have seen almost none,
Right.
are folks that, whether they know it or not, some people right now are watching saying that bothered me, it had nothing to do with race. Yes, it did. Whether you are recognizing, admitting it or not, seeing that taller, proud, imposing black woman taunt that white girl, something in your reptilian brain, it bothered you. And race is inextricably tied to this. And folks want to pretend it wasn't. It was. And that young woman should be very proud. And standing up at that press conference and saying I'm going to be authentically myself and I'm not apologize for it, I thought it was great.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're discussing the men's national championship, in which the Yukon Huskies will win by 12 points tonight.
You got into Yukon.
I'm from Connecticut.
You laughing at your own jokes now?
What's it fun? A baby. Fear the Deer Monday, as predicted correctly. Last week's trouncing focused the Bucks, wire-to-wire victory.
You did predict that, Wiles. Good job.
The Sixers, who some people have going all the way to the finals.
The Deer would be here today, and not Friday.
That Deer is busy.
What is that?
2-5 against the Bucks and Celtics. The Sixers are.
Let's talk
not
about
great.
Gosh.